Broadcasting from the Meredith Hall Studios out of Carson City, Nevada. You're listening to Covering the Field with Big Richard Martin, Gator Gates, and Joe the Answer Ellison.
Welcome to Covering the Field. I'm Joe Ellison, and with me today are my incredible colleagues, Big Richard Martin and Gator Gates. Big Rich, we'll start with you. We have to start the show with the NBA.
Well, the NBA has proven to be great. They are definitely the center stage of sports, slightly above, I'll give it. Hockey, I'm sorry, they're
Gator.
Sinful. I think it's just very, very talented right now. It's great basketball being played, great series, great teams playing. I can't say any more about it, but I'm going to start the segment off with a sink or swim. Sink or swim. What is a Knickerbocker? Since the Knicks are in there, I thought to myself, what is a Knickerbocker? I say sink or swim. It is the Irish settlers in the 1625 who settled in New York area who wore short pants similar to a pants that worn in golf, rolled up right before the knees. Is that a sink or swim?
I would say it's the shorts, not the people who wear the shorts.
Joe, would you like to comment on that, Gator?
Well,
the answer is it the Irish settlers?
I say sink then, because I'm going to say it's the pants themselves.
Well, I just remember the grandmas back in the 40s and 50s pull up your knickers.
There you go.
So I might have to agree with you, Joe.
Well, you guys are both right. It is a sink, but not because it was the Dutch who settled in New York, not the Irish. I thought I would trick you guys by giving you the Knickerbockers. Joe, the answer again got it correct. It was the pants it wasn't the Irish. It was it was the Dutch from New Amsterdam that settled in 1825. Okay, just so everybody knows what a Knickerbocker is, and let's just start off that we talked about this before. The winners of Game 3 win 75% of the games in a 7-game series.
If it's tied 1-1.
Okay, so 87% of the first series, the winners of Game 3, everyone won except for Boston. They lost Game 3. So all the teams that advanced, Game 3 winners, 87% watch Game 3. Okay, Game 5, another crucial game. It's slightly lower at 73% this year. The Boston and the Lakers both lost Game 3.
Still pretty high.
So watch Game 5, watch Game 3, and then make your money line bets going forward. A little bit of
great notes there.
Great, thank you. All right. So let's get into should we get into the most entertainment? I mean, it looks like the Lakers and Warriors are varsity compared to everybody else.
That's the marquee matchup.
That's the marquee matchup, exactly. And it is now 3-1. An astonishing game by none other than Lonnie Skywalker Jr. the fourth. I mean, you might as well put this guy. I mean, just amazing. First of all, is he a junior and the fourth? Can he be a junior and the fourth?
He's
junior is the second.
No, he had to be the fourth.
But he's Lonnie Walker Jr. the fourth.
He's Lonnie Walker the fourth quarter.
That was what his parents do. Great part, Joe, because he put up 15 points in the fourth quarter, coming off the bench, and the Warriors only put up 17 in the fourth quarter. So he almost outplayed the whole Golden State team.
He had the same amount of field goals as Golden State in that quarter.
Exactly.
27-17, Lakers outscored him in that period.
Well, a little bit of history of Lonnie Walker. He came from Miami. If you didn't know, the University of Miami, drafted by San Antonio. And because Monk did not resign with the Lakers, they signed him to a 1-year contract. And he came in actually when LeBron James went out, when the Lakers were 2-10 and everybody wrote him off. And he got the record up to a respectable, I think it was like 17-21 until he came back. So he got him into a position to make the playoffs, because without that run he played then, and he was averaging 19 points a game during that run. So it's not like it's a fluke. He definitely has talent, and he just waited for his time, and it was just brilliant to see. I mean, I thought that was the Black Mamba out there. He looked like Kobe Bryant playing out there, just making clutch shot after clutch shot, outplaying the great Steph Curry, even though Steph Curry had a triple-double. He had 31 points, 10 rebounds, and 14 assists. But the Golden State Warriors only shot 23% and throughout the game. They They were not the Splash Brothers. They were maybe the Drip Brothers. I would give them that at the best. But the Lakers only shot 24% from 3 points. So it was just a great game. Lonnie Walker came and got it. AD played terrific, another double-double. LeBron looked like the LeBron of old. And it was just a great win. And I just think that I'll give you guys a sink or swim on this. This is not a right or wrong answer. But Adrian Dantley, do you guys sink or swim? He should be a Hall of Fame player.
Absolutely.
Hall of Fame.
I would say it's swim on Adrian Dantley. He was a great scorer.
Yeah, Anthony Davis.
Anthony Davis. That's a different guy.
Okay, sorry.
Anthony Davis, I would put him also in the Hall of Fame because he's won a championship and he's a pretty great player. He's going to have 2 by the end of the season, right?
Oh, you're already calling it.
Yeah, we're jumping ahead.
But Anthony, if you look at Paul Gasol's numbers, I think he's nominated this year. I don't know if he did make it, but he will be a Hall of Fame.
Absolutely.
So he averaged 17 points a game, 9 rebounds. Anthony Davis, 24 points, 10 rebounds. So his numbers are there, championship caliber player, and he's just playing lights out right now. He is the reason that they're in. But I want to have to give Darvin Ham a little bit of credit, the coach of the Lakers. He made the adjustments. Usually you give Steve Kerr the advantage. Would you give Steve Kerr the advantage for coaching with experience for sure? But
yeah, and being a pain in the ass too.
Okay.
But yeah, for sure.
We'd say he's probably a better coach, but
better coach.
But down the stretch, they played Anthony Davis, 6'10", LeBron James, 6'8", Reeves, Austin Reeves, 6'5", and Lonnie Walker is only 6'4", and they had Schroeder in at 6'2". So he made the adjustment and went smaller. And it seemed like they were doing the pick and rolls. And how come Steph Curry at 6'2" is guarding LeBron James down the stretch? It was just a great coaching, great plays drawn. They had to make the switches on the picks, and that's just a mismatch. LeBron, driving to the hoop against the 6'2", even though he does play good defense, but it's just such a mismatch at 6 inches.
Well, I was going to say, in response to your thoughts right there, Steph Curry, great player until the last 45 seconds in the game. And he's 0 for 12 in his last 45 seconds. So you don't want him shooting the last shot, but he's always shooting the last shot, which is interesting.
Arguably enough, probably one of the best 3-point shooters of all time. So
it just worked out.
They didn't go their way. I'm telling you, tonight is, the crucial games. Was it 5 tonight?
Yeah.
Yeah. And, would you say, like we looked at that 73%, if Golden State does win tonight, and I say they will splash, they will not drip, they will splash tonight, they will not shoot 23%, they will get it going. Count on Klay Thompson to have a great game. They shoot the 3 well tonight. And they're even talking about maybe even sitting if it's getting close to being out of hand. They're going to sit Davis and they're going to sit LeBron for load management, which is a great strategy.
I love that idea. So as far as the Lakers, first in free throw attempts, Golden State was last. Lakers are dominating free throws and rebounds. It's all about size.
We were 20 for 20 in that last game, and that's when you win by 4. It means you're winning the free throw line. Great point, Joe.
Golden State, they are the ones making all the turnovers, technical fouls, and bad shots. So that's why the Lakers are up 3-1 right now. Just the way
great right now. And speaking of 3-1, that's the odds for them to win. The latest odds on William Hill is 3-1 for them to win. They were 40-1, I think, during the stretch when they were doing the playoff game in play games. You could have got them at 40. So they're now 3-1. And
I got 15, and I always put money on the Lakers because they're my favorite team, but they look terrible most of the year until the trade deadline. So I didn't really believe it. Now I believe it. A little late.
I'll give you since you're the Lakers fan, I'm going to give you a sink or swim. Lakers and Celtics are tied with the most NBA championships.
Yeah, I know that one. They both have 17.
Both have 17.
Yep.
So I'm going to get you on the sink or swim on the second one.
It's a swim.
Okay, you definitely got the swim on that one. Gator. Before you answer the answer correctly, at least answer and let Gator have a chance. Okay, so Lakers, we're going to say Celtics and Warriors are tied with 5 losses in NBA championships.
In the championships.
Well, I'm gonna go swim on that just for the heck of it because it seems very strange that they would be both 17 and 5. So
they're not both 17. I said 5 losses. So Warriors have 7 wins and 5 losses.
Warriors.
Celtics have 17 and 5 losses. The Lakers are 17 wins and 15 losses. So
Yeah,
they
that's-
lost
They
multiple.
ran into the Celtics. a lot.
Right, exactly. So the Warriors, strangely enough, Warriors and Celtics
Celtics
both have 5 losses in the
That's
championship.
crazy.
So it's a good odds to go on there.
Yeah.
So
So you already made your predictions for Game 5. I also think Golden State will win easily tonight.
so you like to take it's 8 or 7.5.
I would
You-
lay that.
You would lay the 8 and 7.5.
I would lay the 8.
That's because they're going to send those guys out.
If they set them out, I think that's why they moved it up.
And then when we go to Game 6 in LA, Lakers 5-0 at home in the playoffs,
No win.
and that's where they close it out.
Mhm.
Okay.
I-
You did say Game 7 last week. You'd be in 7, but I mean the Lakers got some played really good.
I really expected it to be 2-2 right now.
Right. I think everybody.
Now that everything changed a little bit, I think the Lakers close it out because of the home, and Golden State on the road. A little
Horrible.
shaky,
And
terrible
horrible.
all year.
Yeah.
So
2 clutch last series against Sacramento.
Lakers are now.
Put that in there. They did have 2 clutch. Sacramento winning Game 5 and 7 in Sacramento, so they can win on the road. Don't count out.
Yeah,
don't count.
Lakers do play well against Golden State, 9-5 straight up and against the spread last 14.
Right.
Golden State only once in their history have they come back from 3-1 down, and that was against Oklahoma.
If you listen to the interview, though, and Gator, if you listen to LeBron, he said we've learned from losing Game 5 against Memphis. We've learned, and we have to close these guys out now.
Yep.
So a little bit against the strategy of
Sitting
sitting players, and LeBron. You're pretty sure he's the king for a reason, and if he wants to win, I think that Darvin Ham's not going to set him, and I think he's going to play him.
Right. Yeah.
And they play to win and close out because you got 3 chances to close them out.
Yep.
You lay down this game, you only got 2 chances. I don't like giving any more chances to Golden State.
Well, assuming it goes to Game 6, I'm also going to take the under in that game. They seem to play a very good defense. The Lakers do at home.
Okay.
So,
Great points.
Yeah.
okay. How about the other Western Conference series between Denver and Phoenix?
Well, I think we have to talk about Game 4 before we talk about Game 5, right? I mean, what was it? Matt Ispia, the owner of Phoenix, the only owner in history ever to get a technical to cause a flop technical foul. I think that's never happened before. Obviously, flopping on the shove of Jokic, and Jokic was going to get the ball and he actually, by holding the ball, saved 2 points. So definitely would have covered the spread if you would have not had that game because they won by 4. But then causing it to go to Game 5. This will give me credit. Booker played great. The Suns got that win. They hold serve on that, and then Denver goes back to Ball Stadium and they play Ball Arena and played great in Denver. And Jokic had a triple double. He dropped 29, 13 boards, and 12 assists. Michael Porter drops 5 threes, and Denver shot 13 of 27 from the 3-point line. That is 48%, and that is usually going to give a win at home.
Yep. Well, the home team has won and covered each game, so I don't see why you would change now. One was, I guess, a push in Phoenix, depending on what number you got, that 5-point win. And so I'm going to continue down that road, even though Chris Paul is not playing for Phoenix. I'm going to say Phoenix and over in Game 6. Both the games in Phoenix went over. Games 3 and 4, I see more of the same. And then Denver wins in 7.
Well, that seems to be the way everybody's trending. I think that if you're going to give Denver any type of chance, they're going to have to win against the Lakers or Golden State. You have to come and get one win on the road. Going back to Game 7, I think that'll show them. And if Jokic is the real MVP, like we're saying, he needs to come up big in Game 6 and stop fighting with the damn owners.
You're right, Big Richard.
Moving on to the Eastern Conference. As we expected, a pretty interesting series between Philadelphia and Boston. Where do we stand?
Well, last week I said 76ers would win because of the stats that you guys brought out. We've had 3 straight different.
Four straight representatives
in
from
the East Conference. And I think it's the 76ers year. You got Embiid. And then he comes out and plays Game 3. And I'm like, just give that MVP trophy over to Jason Tatum, for God's sakes. He was playing horrible. Harden shot horrible. I mean, Game 3 and 4, I mean, I thought for sure when it went 2-2, I said, all right, they're going to win Game 5 and close them out. And what did the 76ers do? To go to the Garden and smack them. And Embiid did play like the MVP. So I'm glad he didn't give his trophy to Jason Tatum.
Well, game 4, Boston did hit that game-winning shot just a little too late in overtime.
Yeah.
A split second too late.
Oh, the one he missed in the regulation,
Yeah.
he had plenty of time, and the one he did it did just barely miss. So
That was crazy.
that was a tough game.
Philly carried that momentum into Boston. Boston didn't look like
We talked about
they were trying that hard.
It-
Philly was trying much harder.
Well, I think the big Horford was 0 for 7 and didn't shoot anything but 3-pointers. I mean, he was 0 for 7 for 0 points and all from the 3-point line. I mean, you have to go inside. Is Embiid that just impressive? You can't even bring it inside. You have to be a center and have to shoot
I
everything.
think Boston also relies on their defense way too much, don't you guys think? I mean,
Well, they're very deep and they play very good.
Yeah.
But when you don't, I mean, Tatum had I think 30 points, but he did shoot horrendous from the 3-point line, and it goes. If you have Harford 0 for 7 from the 3-point line, that's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
And Harden, he shot 40% from the 3-point line and 50% from the field. The 76ers did. They shot 40% in that game. So where the threes goes, usually where the money goes. And how do you know when Harden's going to have a good night or a bad night? Because game 3 and 4 he was absolutely horrible. Yeah. And then he comes back and has a 45-point game and a 43-point game. So, I mean,
well, Philly has the advantage of coaching too. Doc Rivers over this Joe Mazzulla guy who's never coached before. So I'm going to switch my pick that I made last week where he said Boston in 7. I'm going to say Philly closes them out in game 6. And that's that.
We'll see what happens. That'll be tomorrow night.
Tomorrow night. Okay. In the other series in the East, it's Miami against New York. What's the story there? New York could be that team, not Philly, who wasn't a champion, East champion in the last 4 years, but doesn't look good, does it?
Doesn't look good. The Knickerbockers, we know what they are now. Jimmy Bucket's just been playing out of his mind. He looks like the championship team that they've won before, losing to the Lakers in the bubble. He looks like he's up at that form. And just Miami, the 8 seed, I would be hard to bet against them in the next series. Either one of those teams, I would probably lean towards Miami with their momentum and the way they're playing right now.
Yep, I would too. And Eric Spoelstra has proven to be definitely one of the best coaches in the league. Him and Popovich, I guess, would be considered the top 2. So that's much better than Tom Thibodeau for New York. So I think they close this out in 5. Next game, series ends.
The thing I really took from that game, it seemed like the refs were too much involved. It looked like 4 offensive fouls on Julius Randle. I thought he got robbed. When you foul out your best player with 4 minutes left in the game, and then Martin comes up there and does that monster slam. Connor Martin comes out and just slams.
From Nevada.
Caleb Martin, yes. And it just seemed it was a posterized dunk, and it just seemed right at that point what a turnaround that would be. And if instead of shooting free throws, that's a 5-point turnaround. So,
well, I'm on record saying Lakers are going to win it now. I had Milwaukee beating the Lakers. How'd that work out at the beginning?
Exactly.
But now I got Lakers in there. Who are you going to pick?
I'm gonna stick with 76ers, and I'm going to say 76ers and Denver.
Oh wow. Okay. And you, sir?
I'm going to say 76ers and Lakers.
Okay.
I'm rooting for Denver, but I'm not exactly sure they can do it. And,
you're going to pick Sixers or Lakers?
I'm going to take Lakers.
All right.
See,
I don't want to.
That number me, but
my heart.
I would like to see Jokic and Embiid play the 2 MVPs, the battle. That would be great to have them in the NBA Finals.
One final NBA note. Milwaukee head coach Mike Budenholzer just got fired. His team posted the best record in the NBA this season. He just won a championship 2 years ago. The 5th highest winning percentage ever in the history of the game. Did he get a raw deal?
You got hosed.
He got hosed. Prequel to our "You Got Hosed" segment, but I think it goes back to when they asked, Giannis, was it a failure this year? Well, obviously,
the ownership
thought it was a failure. I don't care what Giannis says, and
Well, that was the 3rd team with the best record to win only 1 or 0 playoff games, and so I guess ever. So maybe that had a lot to do with it. And he did freeze in that game 5. Where he didn't call the timeout, and they never got a shot up against Miami. He had those 2 timeouts left. I wasted
I
that.
don't think that timeout. I think Butler had a cape on and he was putting the team on his back and
double.
He could have.
Maybe
He could have.
I don't know.
You're right.
At least it was a shot.
It was a shot.
Maybe his players threw him under the bus, got him fired. Who knows? So
You got a raw deal for
So
sure.
that's 3 out of the last 4 NBA championship coaches have already been fired.
Great. That's
You got to win now or pack your bags.
So this is getting to be a pattern. So moving on to hockey. The NHL playoffs continue to be amazing and unpredictable. Gator, for instance, going into tonight's game, Stanley Cup favorite Edmonton Oilers, they find themselves down 2-1 against Vegas in the Western Conference semifinals. What's been going on?
Well, yeah. Let's go back to game 3, Joe, where Edmonton scored the first goal in that game, and then the Knights came back with 5 unanswered. But I just also want to say, isn't this a great playoff series just with NBA and the NHL with the parity?
Absolutely.
Parity. And that's how I see it, Joe. Parity. It's hard to bet, they're fun to watch. And the games that are boring to watch are the easier ones to bet.
I'd say hockey is its usual crazy, unpredictable self, and the NBA has been surprisingly competitive this year.
Mhm.
Usually it's very predictable.
I agree. It's fun. It's fun right now.
It has been good.
So anyway, Edmonton, that Edmonton Knights game, both goalies that started did not finish the game, Joe. Skinner was pulled, and Brossoit, he re-aggravated his hip. He was going from post to post, and when he got to the other side of the post, he did something to his hip.
So do we have an update on his injury?
Not that I know of. Hill is the goalie now. I'm sure that he's the one that's going to be. It's his team right now. Quick is the one that is sitting on the bench, so we'll see what happens there.
Jonathan Quick sitting on the bench in the plans for Aiden Hill. Shocking.
Well, 3 out of the 4 games that went under.
Mhm.
Yes, so that's very surprising with Edmonton's firepower.
Well, they've played 3, so 2 out of 3.
2 out of 3. have been
2 out of 3
under.
have been under. Well, before the series, you're right. Edmonton, they hadn't lost a game in regulation since March 11th. That's unbelievable.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Wow.
And they haven't lost 2 in a row since like February, I believe.
Yeah. Well, it just happened.
We all jumped on that Joe's prediction of
The first
Edmonton
game.
will lose.
the first game and win the series. So we'll see what happens. I mean, last was kind of rough last game.
As
But
long as Vegas stays out of that penalty box, I think they'll be all right. Edmonton's power play set a regular season NHL record,
Mhm.
32.4%. In the playoffs, they're 52%.
Or if you're going to go to the
That's-
bench, make sure you bring somebody with you.
Right. There you go. So what do you see in this series
In this
future?
series? Well, I think Edmonton's going to win tonight, but
Absolutely.
yeah, going back to Edmonton. Wow. I'm going to take Edmonton to win the series. I have to, Joe.
Yeah.
I have to.
I'm picking Oilers in 7. Edmonton wins tonight. They'll have to win game 7 in Vegas, which would be interesting. But they full on are going to win this game tonight.
I would think so.
You have to believe it. In the other West semi, Dallas and Seattle, they're
Boy.
not up at 2-2.
Yeah, this way, a 7-game series. I like Seattle. Now we're at a 3-game series, Joe. I'm still going to take Seattle, but if you would have told me who you're going to take in a 3-game series, I'd have to say Dallas. But I'm still going to take Seattle, though.
Teams have alternated victories, right?
Mm-hmm.
Seattle, Dallas.
Mhm.
So I guess Seattle would win the next one, but I don't think that's going to happen. I think they'll take the momentum. And I think the home teams are going to look good, and Dallas in 7.
You think it's going to switch? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, good. It's hard to predict.
correct?
Hard to predict.
All
Oh,
those
God, yes. Got 6.
All 4 games went over the 5.5 total, but now the books, they finally caught on. They moved the total to 6 for the next game.
Mhm.
And one of the games was 4-2. So I still like the overs anyway, especially in Seattle. Both games, 3 and 4 scored 9 goals each. So when they go back for game 6, for sure, the over looks really good.
Good point.
Okay. So let's move on to the Eastern Conference, where Florida is taking a commanding 3-0 lead over poor Toronto. Isn't that a big surprise?
Yeah, they're playing right now as we speak, Joe. And wait, but you just did it. I wanted to not see that. Okay, well, it's still 0-0.
Nothing's changed.
There's change.
Nothing but bagels. Nothing but bagels. Gator, relax.
Well, I'm
It's
thinking.
hockey.
I was thinking it's hard to sweep anybody, and Toronto getting swept. I mean, I can't even say it. So I don't think Toronto's going to get swept. but there's no way they're going to win 4 in a row, Joe. No way.
Well, Florida's won 6 in a row.
Yes, they have.
That's Florida, not Toronto.
But that's 3 against Boston Bruins.
But Florida's been playing playoff hockey for 2 months.
Well,
Right.
beating up the mighty Bruins and now taking care of the.
Yeah, well, they had to beat
Maple
up a
Leafs.
bunch of teams just to barely get into the playoffs.
yes.
Last team to get
Well, there's
in.
nobody hotter than them. Can we all agree?
Yeah, I
on
agree
that?
with that. I
No
agree
doubt.
with that. Yep.
The Toronto fans are not singing "We Want Florida" anymore.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. Well,
They're done with that.
yep.
They're done with that. They're done with their season here in about another
And so-
hour and a half.
And their goaltender, Sergei Bobrovsky,
Yeah.
he's doing great. Toronto's top 4 players, they got no goals, and
Mhm.
they're all stud players. Every game has gone under the 6.5 total.
Right.
They're just stuffing Toronto.
They win that first series, and he's, I want to say that the
Right.
kind of
That was a relief.
Yeah, and
Finally got that monkey off their back.
yeah, and then you're not ready to play this series. What's going on?
I don't think so, and I think Florida sweeps them. Toronto needed that one in overtime, and we saw what happened there.
Yeah,
Yeah. Well, that was crazy because the road teams were 12-3 in overtimes, and so I looked at the kiosk, and it was Toronto minus 125 going into the overtime. I was shocked.
yeah, I'd be
So the
shocked
Buck-
too.
The books were all over that. Well, the underdog won, so
Yeah.
they had the wrong favorite up there.
Yeah, exactly.
So that was a big surprise.
Carolina.
Yeah, it's a good thing because I ended up not betting it because of the price, and I would have lost.
Hmm.
Yeah. So I'm saying a sweep. In the other East series, Carolina's up 3-1, and they're at home. They're looking to close out New Jersey tomorrow.
Yeah.
How's that looking for the
Well,
future here?
Well, New Jersey is one of those teams to me that they're either really good or really bad. So which team are we going to get? I don't see New Jersey coming back. I do think Carolina is going to finish it.
Just right in 5.
Right in
Just
5.
end it.
Well, all games have been over, correct, Joe? On these,
But all
I
of
think they've
them.
all been over.
Yes.
Okay.
They've all been over.
Every game has been a blowout.
Blowout one way or another.
Yeah.
But I think the big key to that is they started Vitek Venik and set the Sweden stud
Yeah.
Eric Schmid, and he gave up 5 goals.
Mhm.
Venik did, and then he only gave up 1. The Sweden did.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was shocked too. A very
So I
good
think-
point. I was shocked too.
I'm surprised they did it. I think we put Schmid in goal, and they're playing. Where is it? Game 5.
Game 5,
Carolina.
Carolina. So if he
Up
can
3-1.
he pulled a shutout last time. You remember when they were down 0-2? He pulled a shutout. Good goalies can make this stuff happen. If you can get him there, he can get on that roll again. Maybe you can make it a little better series.
Big Rich, exactly right. It's all about goalies when it's this time of the year.
Yeah, Carolina I'm going to say they blow them out again and go over. Carolina and over, game 5.
And Joe
Put
just
it in.
said, the Toronto top guys are not doing anything.
No.
When it's goalies. Is where that
And
goalie time.
Goalie and defense in front of the net is really strong for Carolina. Very tough team.
So if they go into there, who you picking to win it? You're saying it's Florida, Carolina.
Mhm. I like
Well, that's-
Carolina,
That's going to be a beauty.
but it is a coin flip. I
Oh,
mean, if
wow.
Florida keeps playing what they're playing, Carolina's going to be tough. I mean, Carolina's not going to win, but if Florida breaks down anywhere, I think Carolina's
Yeah.
going to win.
Boy, that sure looks like a 7-game series.
Don't
doesn't
it?
It looks
Me
like a
too.
beauty.
Me
And
too.
Carolina would have.
I don't know
home
why
ice for game
Florida's
7.
won 6 in a row. And they might be a sweep. I mean, they might be rolling all the way.
Carolina can keep up. Carolina can keep
That
up.
Good.
Yeah,
Carolina
good
can keep
defense against good offense. So we're going to say, and that's going to make
A lot of
great
fights. Should be a lot of good fighting. The old time hockey, maybe.
All right.
Okay.
We could use some more fighting in the playoffs. So
Needs to be rougher.
overall, road teams 38-26 going in tonight's games. So don't be afraid to bet those road teams. Last week we mentioned Dallas's Joe Pavelski scored 4 goals in game 1 against Seattle. Very next night, Edmonton's Leon Draisaitl
Mhm.
did the same thing against Vegas. That was crazy.
Well, I love watching Draisaitl.
Yeah.
He comes up with like you're playing a video game.
And what a name for a hockey player, huh?
Draisaitl, yeah.
German guy. The last time that happened, by the way, 1988. Crazy thing about it, though, both teams lost.
Oh yeah.
They both scored for
Oh,
both had 4 goals and they lost.
that
Incredible.
sounds bad.
That never happened before. And Gator, we just had the NHL draft lottery.
Mhm.
Who won it?
Okay, well, the Ducks had the highest percentage of getting number 1, but Chicago actually won the draft lottery, which actually is going to mean that they're going to get Connor McDavid.
Connor Bedard, yes.
And now they're comparing him to a lot like Sidney Crosby. And if he does go first, which I don't see why he wouldn't,
He will.
It's going to be like the franchise, like Ovechkin go into Washington or something like that. It's gonna
Changes
be
the whole franchise for Chicago.
And I guess they did sell. Chicago sold $3 million worth of tickets within
Season
hours.
tickets.
Yeah, within hours after that. So.
Well, the last time they had the first pick, Patrick Kane was
Mhm.
the guy, and he ended up being quite the stud. This guy is going to be amazing. I was looking at the stats, like 140 points in 50 games in the minors.
As they say, he's as fast as
Yeah,
David
it's
and he shoots
unbelievable.
like Kel McCarron.
He was born in Vancouver, and he was playing minor league hockey up in Regina, Saskatchewan for the Pats. And he was also in the Canadian junior team, Canada's junior team.
Just checking in with our producer. Can we say Regina on the? Okay, so okay.
Nothing could be finer than to be in Regina.
Okay.
So let's get to some baseball news. Who's hot and cold in Major League Baseball these days? Who should we be betting on?
Well, the hottest is the Dodgers. Now, all these stats that I'm giving was as of Tuesday night, but the Dodgers did play today and they won.
Okay.
So they actually in 12 games, they're 10-2.
Okay.
They're the hottest team. Tampa Bay and Boston were 8-3 in the last 11. And Joe had 5 teams. 2 of them I know the score today. I have Detroit, Texas, Arizona, San Diego, and Colorado all at 7-4. But Colorado beat Pittsburgh today, and Detroit beat Cleveland today. So
So
they're
the
both
Rockies are 8-2.
8-4 in their last 12.
So that's awesome. They're turning it around.
Still in last.
against Pittsburgh.
I think
they
they
just got done.
Pittsburgh is now 1-9 in their last 10.
Correct. I have them. Where do I have them? I have them 3-8. Last 11.
We can talk about the cold teams.
So now they're 3-9 in their last 12 games.
Yeah.
So reality's coming in on Pittsburgh.
Well, that O'Neill Cruz kid hasn't been playing yet, right? They got a chance still to do some things.
But
So
St.
anyway,
Louis
enjoy
is
the games
coldest
and
still they're at
got some
2-9.
got some squares. You know they're going to play better by the end of the season.
But they are on a 3-game winning streak.
And Oakland,
So they're 3-9. now.
Yeah,
3-9 now.
St. Louis are on a 3-game winning streak, and they're 3-7 in their last. So it tells you how bad they're playing.
Oakland 3-8.
Well, you might as well just put them on the cold list permanently.
We could
the
do
entire year.
San Jose Sharks, huh?
Yeah, well, that too.
Okay, well, we're gonna make
They're
our own.
The team we mentioned last week. That's all we have to say.
That Oakland season is not over, unfortunately.
Now, I had 5 teams. We had Kansas City, Houston, the Mets, Milwaukee, and Chicago, all at 4-7.
Okay. Well, looking at the standings, American League, my group of death, all teams are at least 4 games above 500. That's
Isn't it crazy?
Central. Minnesota is the only team above 500. The West, you got Texas and the Angels looking good right now. National, looks like Atlanta's going to run away with that division. Is it too early to say that?
I don't know.
25 and
I
11
believe
and 7.5 games ahead of Miami already.
And the Mets, they don't look like they can catch him.
No. Pittsburgh, Milwaukee, tied for first in the loss column in the Central, and the Dodgers, Arizona, San Diego, all above 500, looking decent, duking it out right now. Teams with the best run differential: Tampa Bay, Texas, and Atlanta. They're the most dominant team.
Texas is 7-3, run differential of 83, and you can still get them at 40-1 to win the major.
Bruce Bochy.
World Series.
That was one of my.
And we have to
surprise
talk about
teams.
the Tigers. They're finally 7-3.
Yeah.
I mean, they're in second place.
Hmm.
They're 7-3. So I'll give you guys a sink or swim. It's been a decade since they've had a winning record.
Ooh, probably longer than that.
I was going to say sink because I think they had one where they actually had one season where they went above 500.
With who?
With you got that kid Miguel. What's his name? Cabrera.
I knew
So,
it.
you know,
Joe, the answer is on it again. 2016, 2009 to 2016, they were all over 500. So 6 out of 7 of those years, they were all over 500.
Jesus.
So there must have been the
16,
Verlander maybe there that time.
Right.
That time. They were
Forgot about that.
playing some pretty good
Forgot
baseball
about
then.
that.
So it seems like it's been over a decade, like Gator said, but it's not. And let's
even
Rock
the
and
A's
Ronnie
made
did
the
it.
playoffs like three
You got a point, Joe. Don't tell.
things happen.
Okay, so Rock and Ronnie, shout out to you for this stat. Okay, month of April, Max Muncy had 11 home runs. And I think Alfonso had 11 close.
Pete Alonso?
Had 10. Those 10 beat out the Aprils of Aaron Judge's last year. Roger Maris's 61 when he had the 61, and Babe Ruth in 1927 when he had 60.
That's amazing.
Is that sink or swim? He outbeat all their Aprils.
Well, I'm going to have to say swim on that one because it seems so outrageous that it has to be true.
No.
It is swim. Judge
It is
had
outrageous.
6 in April. Maris only had 1 in April, and Babe Ruth had 4 in April. So they might have been those longer. They might not have played so many games.
They wouldn't
Babe
play
Ruth
as many
played
games back then.
in April, but that
Yes.
just shows you that we might be looking at another home run champion.
Okay. Gator, did you have any predictions for this weekend's games?
Well, I have 5 series if you want them.
Sure.
I got Chicago's going to be at Minnesota. Minnesota just got done playing San Diego, so I think Minnesota's going to take at least 2 out of the 3. Now Texas is going to be at Oakland, and they got a 4-game series going on. But I think Texas can maybe sweep them. But I'm going to say 3-1.
Oh, you feel sorry for the A's, and you're going to give them 1. Okay, good.
Yeah, Bochy knows them.
Yeah, well, yeah.
So
They'll beat up on the A's.
I think so. Kansas City's going to be at Milwaukee, and Milwaukee just got done playing the Dodgers. So I think that Milwaukee deserves to have Kansas City come. I think they'll be
Second worst team in baseball.
Yeah.
Oh boy,
And
they're
then
digging it out with the A's.
Boston just got done with Atlanta. They're going to be hosting St. Louis. I don't see St. Louis doing anything.
Okay.
I don't know. They might win 1 again. It's hard for me to, it's hard to sweep anybody. So when I say these, I just think Boston's going to win that series. Miami's going to beat Cincinnati, Milwaukee over Kansas City, and Texas over Oakland, and Minnesota over Chicago Cubs.
Okay.
Okay, well, another thing I want to add is Ohtani.
Mm-hmm.
He got his 500th strikeout.
Mm.
So sink or swim, Ohtani and Babe Ruth are the only players in Major League history to have 100 home runs and 500 strikeouts.
Yeah, I'll go with that.
Yeah,
I'll swim with that.
They both are the only 2 in Major League history. So
Yep.
it shows you the greatness we're watching with Ohtani when you compare him to Babe Ruth. And,
even when you go back in those older days, they were good at one and okay at the other. They weren't awesome at both.
right.
Yeah.
So we're seeing some greatness with Ohtani, and hopefully, for Mike Trout's sake, they can maybe make the playoffs this year.
I agree.
Well, Ohtani,
Get some bullpen guys.
22 hits over his first 46 innings pitched this year. So that's pretty dominant. And he gave up 3 runs and 7 hits last night. So it was even more dominant
Right.
until last night. One other note, Aaron Judge came back Tuesday. Yanks went 4-6, had a -12 run differential without him. So look for the Yankees to start playing
Yeah,
better.
they sure needed that.
They're in last place in that division, even though they're 4 games above 500. So we can thank Butch the Butcher for some of those stats. And trivia. Ready for trivia?
Okay.
What switch hitter in 1971 was the MVP in the American League? And I'll give you a hint. It's a trick question.
Because it's the American League, baby. I would.
Why? Because he was a National League, got traded in the American League?
No, because he was a pitcher. Vita Blue was an MVP and Cy Young Award winner for my Oakland A's. And yes, he was a switch hitter.
Okay.
Poor
But
Vita.
when he DH'd, he wasn't switching, but I guess he was when he started. That's a great trivia question.
It's an incredible trivia question.
No.
Well, Blue, he died last week at the age of 73. He won 3 World Series, often battled owner Charlie Finley over his pay and other things, and later pleaded guilty to cocaine possession, leading him to 81 days in prison and a year-long suspension from baseball. What a life, huh?
Yeah.
Vita Blue.
What year was it that they went the AL and then?
They
71.
won the division from
Was it?
71 to 75, and they won the World Series from 72 to 74.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, pretty awesome, huh?
Yeah. Well, the 70s.
Okay.
So we got to be in a new era of baseball. You know how the new era started in 1900? I would say that this is the first year of the new era.
Okay.
Have to be.
Well, new rules.
I would have to say this is the
Yeah, the
first
new
year of
rules.
the new era.
A lot of new rules. We'll get into that again as the season goes on. Gator NASCAR went to Kansas last Sunday. What transpired?
Oh, wow. Well, I had Kyle Larson to win, and he was leading Joe on the last lap, and I thought I was going to have it. And here comes Denny Hamlin, blam! So Denny Hamlin won. Kyle Larson had second. But as we said on the show, we were kind of saying that Toyota was pretty dominant at this track.
Hamlin, that's his 4th win at Kansas, so he has been dominant.
Exactly.
7-1 odds was not very big.
But we had to get into Ross Chastain's face again.
Well, we thought we were gonna have a fight with Larson and Hamlin when he bump drafted him into the wall. Great job by Larson to even hold it off. I mean, I thought for sure he was going to spin out.
Yeah.
But we had a different fight. Tell us about it, Gator.
Well, Chastain, Noah Gasson went over and Grayson went over and confronted him, which nobody really has done that. Kind of shocked me that he actually.
He is definitely the bad.
Everybody's like, you go beat him up.
Yeah, exactly. Everybody. So I was impressed with that, but Ross did throw a punch on him.
Yeah.
So I don't know anything like that.
Gregson into the wall, right?
Yeah.
So
and then he ran him all the way down to the infield, and he was 4 laps down, and had no business even trying to race somebody who's on the lead lap. So
everyone hates this Chastain guy now. It's unanimous. So it's going to continue.
Yeah, I don't see.
He doesn't drive very safely, obviously.
Yeah.
So,
Well, neither did Dylan or
Dale Earnhardt, and there's been others. Tony Stewart. And there's been others who've sent people into the wall before. Kyle Busch did for a little while. So we go to Darlington next week. Any predictions?
Okay. Well, last year Joey Logano's Ford won. Tyler Reddick and Justin Haley for Chevy, 2nd and 3rd. I'm going to go with Kevin Harvick. I think Kevin Harvick is, like I keep saying, is going to win one of these races this year. So this is last year. He received 4th last year, so I'm going to go with the Fords, and which is a long shot. The Fords are at 3-1, but I'm going to take Kevin Harvick at 21. Joe,
21's good.
Sure.
I like that.
For a long
what about Darlington? That's a mile track or a little bit over or under?
Actually, it's the oldest track. It's the oldest track for one.
I thought it was a couple of miles, but I'm
Darlington's
going by
small.
Oh, really?
It's a small track.
Small tracks. You have to give the Toyotas. You have to give the Toyotas a chance on those small tracks. Truex always races good on those, and
yeah, that's a great point.
They only race once at Darlington now, right? So,
well, I think they play race twice because I think one of them's in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Eric Jones. I think Eric Jones won in the later. There was a September one too. I think Eric.
So I do think they.
Well,
race
that's
twice.
one of the tracks they should race twice. It's a good track, so it should be a really good race.
And the corners, one corner is wider than the other corner, longer than the other corner. That's another uniqueness of it.
Okay. All right. So those are our predictions. Is there any news from the National Football League? New schedule, I guess.
Well, we have the new schedule came out. The European tours on there, and we're getting pulled up right now. But I think the big one was Christmas. We're going to go back to Philadelphia where they booed Santa Claus, and the Giants are going to visit there this year on Christmas Day, and it's going to be a 4:30 game. So it's going to be pretty early. Usually that's the big games we start watching the NBA on Christmas, so now it might be a little competitive on time.
4:30 our time or 4:30?
It's I think it's a 4:30 East game. So
1:30.
I think so. Well, I'm not too sure on that. I just know it was 4:30.
Well, that could be a doubleheader then. The 1:30 and 5 o'clock doubleheader on Christmas Day. Right. That'd be amazing.
And then we have from European going on. We have, I think the first one is Atlanta.
Jaguars play back to back. Because
England. They can't draw anybody on their stadium, so I guess
they're pretty good though.
Yeah, they are. They had a great season last year, so they'll be.
That should change.
And I think they're loved over there in Europe. Really,
and that'll be Well, one's going to be. They're both going to be in London, so I guess Jacksonville's going to play half their games in London this year. And we have Baltimore in Tennessee. They're going to play in London also. And then the Germans get the game. I think I couldn't believe they get Kansas City and Miami, and I think that game was supposed to be played in Kansas City, and that's where Tyreek Hill was supposed to go back.
Tyreek
Hill, the cheetah, was supposed to go back, and I'm surprised Kansas City has to forfeit a game because they draw so many people. They're sold out every game, and they're the loudest crowd. So big traveling if you're going to go all the way to Germany from Kansas City if you want to keep your home game streak going for Kansas City to go to the game. And then we ended up with the Patriots and the Colts.
Okay.
And they'll be in Germany.
Okay, the beer will be flowing and it'll be good.
They're gonna be flowing. So they got Tom Brady last year. This year they get the coach.
Okay.
So they get from New England. So
Well, the 149th Kentucky Derby was last Saturday. Gator, what occurred?
Oh, wow. Well, first off, we had 5 scratches right off the bat, Joe. Practical Move, Forte, Lord Miles, Skinner, and Contier. So, so who won was Mage with Javier Castellano riding him. That was his first win in the Kentucky Derby.
Venezuelan.
He was 15-1, correct, Venezuelan. He was 15-1. Two Phils and Angel of Empire came in that order, second and third.
Mage created a rage for our contributor, Boots McCage. She had 2 fills to win, winning down the stretch and got past right at the end.
And also my wife had that. Hats off to her. She always picks the one with the prettiest tail. So she thought 2 Phils, and she also likes Dr. Phil. There's no way that she could lose that race, and she barely lost it. She came in second, but she did better across the board. So congratulations there, babe.
Now, Lady Gator did have 2 out of the 3. The only one she had 2 Phils, Angel of Empire, and Tap It Trice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And Forte went out. Why was that there, Gator? Why did Forte get scratched?
Well, he had a bruised leg. That's why they didn't run him. He had a bruised leg. Now, there was 3 different doctors.
Bruised foot, I think, right?
Mm-hmm,
Yeah.
his foot. And there was 3 different
It's a hoof,
doctors.
Joe. I know you're the answer. That's the only thing you got wrong all day today. You got every sink or swim, and you think a horse has a
His
foot.
leg.
It is a hoof, but it's fine, Joe. You still did really good.
I'm not a big horse guy.
Okay.
So, well, anyways, they had 3 different doctors that said he could run, and with the problems that they were having that week, the whole week, they decided to keep him out. So,
Speaking of problems, these horses that are dying on the track, what do you got to say about 7 altogether died in a week? 2 horses that day.
what do I have to say about it?
Well, I mean, in U.S. and Canada, 600 a year, they say, die while racing.
The only thing I can say about it, Joe, is that they could fix my eye, but they can't fix a leg on a horse.
Right?
That's all I can say about
Too
it.
much weight, too skinny of legs, it looks like.
Mm-hmm.
Crazy. But anyway, so that's the negative part of the race. But the dollar exacta paid 165.
Mm-hmm.
Mage
Yeah.
paid 16.20. You actually could have got a future on Mage at 100 to 1.
Mm.
Yeah. So the try paid 982 dollar try. Superfecta, you get the first 4 horses, 15,643. Good luck with that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
Yeah, but if you box it, Joe, you take 4 horses to get
Right.
that superfecta. You take 4 horses that you like, you box it for $1 would be $24.
yeah,
Your payout's $15,000.
that's worth it. Good margin there. So you want to go on the website for Rockin' Ronnie McKinnon's story on the race. We had some technical difficulties, but he will be on the website to read his story.
And he'll be back for the Preakness.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I certainly hope so. I'm pretty sure he will. Other news, West Virginia coach Bob Huggins and A's announcer Glenn Kuiper got in trouble for racial slurs. Iowa and Iowa State players are in trouble. Alabama's baseball coach got fired, all for sports gambling. Football's Deacon Jones and Joquette, and college basketball's Denny Crum passed away, sadly. And we like DC in the XFL championship game.
Mm-hmm.
Why
Yeah.
they waited a whole extra week to have the championship game, I don't know, but they did. So there you go. So it's that time, ladies and gentlemen. For the moments we've all been waiting for, stories that make us furious about bets that appeared surely to be winners, but in the end something went horribly wrong. They ended up being losers. It's a segment we affectionately call You Got Hosed.
You got hosed.
Okay. Well, Joe, my whole story is going to go back to the Kentucky Derby. And like you were saying, Mage was 100 to 1 on the futures. A lot of people had Forte on those futures as well. Now, the thing about the futures is that if the horse doesn't race, you do not get your money back.
That's right.
And what the futures is in October, they'll come out with a list of 200 horses and you'll have 201 odds, those type of things. But if you did have a Forte after the post was done, you would have gotten your money back.
Right.
But for those who had the futures on Forte, I'd have to say you guys got hosed.
Yeah, that's the craziest thing. You could actually be bidding a horse that doesn't even make it, and you throw your money away. You have to wait till the actual draw comes out, and then you will get your money back. So that's a good tip.
No, well, on the
Once the odds come out.
Yeah, but on the futures, you don't get your
Not
money.
the futures, no.
Yeah.
But,
The future's not
once
too
the
bright
horse
with
is
that
set,
ticket, that's
never-
for sure. Don't bet the futures, that's what we're saying. Okay, so my You Got Hosed, I was cutting the numbers up with Butcher Butch. We both loved the Lakers in game 3. So we took that, but we weren't getting enough money. You have to pick a baseball game to parlay it with, right? So I, of course, picked Houston over Seattle, and the Butcher went the other way. He said the pitching was better. So I'm saying world champion Houston, good chance to parlay it with the Lakers. And I was gloating all the way up to the 8th inning because the Houston Astros were up 5-0 with 2 outs, nobody on. No way I could lose, right, Joe? Oh, no. They give up 8 runs with 2 outs in the 8th inning, and they lose 8-6. And there went my parlay, I thought, for sure. And I apologize to my wife for being so upset at that. It was not a very good companion the rest of the night. And just say I will be buying a new TV.
Maybe. All right. Maybe betting the first 5 innings might be in order if you like your starting pitchers and not worry about getting closed at the end of the game.
Yeah, if you like your starting pitchers, first 5 innings.
I mean,
that
you need
pitcher's not
4 outs and you're up by 5. There's no way a Major League Baseball team should lose.
Shouldn't, but it happens. But my You Got Hosed story, that was game 3 of the Edmonton-Vegas hockey series. I bet the over 7. I was sitting there watching it with you guys. Vegas took a 5-1 lead with 3 minutes left in the second period. I just need one more goal to push. I'm thinking I'm going to win. It's looking great. Edmonton's at home. They just scored 4 and 5 goals the last 2 games. But naturally, not only do the Oilers not score, neither do the Golden Knights. No scoring last 23 minutes of action. 5-1 final is very tough to watch. As I got hurt.
Very tough to watch. Even with an empty net, you couldn't get one in there.
They didn't pull the
They didn't pull the
goaltender.
goalie. Did not care about your bet.
No, not at all.
They gave up.
You got hosed.
So that's it for the show. I'd like to thank Big Richard Martin, Gator Gates, Rockin, Ronnie McKinnon, our contributor, and all our other contributors, Butch the Butcher, our editor, producer, and engineer, Cornelius, and all you listeners out there. And next week, we look forward to bringing you another episode of Covering the Field.
Thank you, Joe.
You've been listening to Covering the Field. Email us at coveringthefield@gmail.com for all your comments or questions. Find us on Twitter @CoveringField. And of course, always check out the website for our picks of the week and updated articles. coveringthefield.com.